Leepus, Dizzy, Chapter 6. Leepus up on the tower roof checking his dish connection. There's a tourney kicking off in 20 and he can't get a signal. The situation is fucking frustrating. Even when accessible, the net is largely unravelled. A mastermind with dementia. A degraded virtual catacombs where simples hang out talking shit and acting trashy, then leave a mess of carelessly abandoned data for the maid. Tireless robot formulae mine the grubby residue, glean prejudicial intel and target threat reduction. A veiled back door is risky, but an occupational hazard. Liquidity is an essential hedge against turbulence, and a legit bankroll greases stealth incursion of municipal jurisdictions. Lucky the online card rooms are full of fish with crip chip. Leepus wins it from them. But his balance is currently depleted, a deposit overdue. So now the spider glider's dropped his thread, and there's rain on the filthy wind, and Bodger's smoking quaddie bouncing reckless over South Commons, towing a loaded trailer. A loaded trailer off-road? The bastard's fucking puddled. The quaddie parked up down in the tower compound. Bodger dismounted and breathing heavy. "Thanks for coming," Leepus greets his grey-faced pal. "Take a wrong turning, do you?" "What?" Bodger doesn't get it. "I know the lane's no payway, but it's easier than the heath. Surprised you don't throw a half-shaft." "Right." Bodger heading inside. "Posse of bloodthirsty tinkish trotting chariots round the green. Think it's best I work around them." "Tinkish?" Leepus tuts. "Don't call them that to their face, mate. They get cross if you hurt their feelings." "Bastards don't have feelings." The lift ascending. Leepus holding his breath. Bodger less than fragrant. "So," Leepus leads out into the tank room, "these rovers got a point to make, or just expressing their exuberant culture?" "Dunno." Bodger plucks at his beard. "But they're smashing windows with slingshots and dragging Bob the Butcher's poor old dog along behind them, all mashed up on a rope." "That's not very nice." "Maybe you could give Mike a shout," says Bodger, fumbling to ignite a weed stick. "Too soon for a raise like that, mate. Mike's a weapon of last resort." Leepus turns on the monitor, pans the camera obscura. "And anyway, she's off doing good elsewhere." "So what are you going to do?" Leepus zooms on smoke rising thick from somewhere near the sty field on the forest side of Shithole. A trio of rover chariots slaloming a field of panicked pork. Slaughter on the run. "Do?" Leepus shrugs, turns from screen to Bodger. "I'm going to put the kettle on while you start on fixing the portcullis. Mind my own fucking business. Hope it all blows over." "What if they come up here?" "Not sure." Leepus thinks about it for a moment. "I suppose we might get our heads cut off if you haven't finished welding." Bodger swallowing his Adam's apple. "That ain't funny, man." "Right." Leepus prompts Bodger into the lift. "Surprised you think I'm joking." Leepus lights a burner under the kettle. Then he sparks a contemplative weed stick, mulls the potential for problematic synergy of recent random complications. Sky burial on hillside. Overseer in airspace. Student scrutineers up arse. Rovers on a rampage. Fucking Mike gone walkabout. Bodger vibing dodgy. Some kind of game afoot, but Leepus doesn't see it. He needs to sharpen up. Water boiling steady now. Clouds threatening kitchen rain. Leepus takes down his glass teapot. Dumps in a couple of spoonfuls of Mother Mellow's Vitality. inundates the pungent herb mix and adds a kicker-up of patent thinking powder for a bonus synaptic decoke. Leepus gives it a couple of minutes, studies the murky convection of entheogenic infusion. Then he pours it into his best china cup, gulps down a snake of bitter liquid. Catalytic squirm in stomach, warm peristalsis creeping gut, nervous system energised, dull visuals resolving and the oral world enhanced, distant dropped pins clattering like girders. Bodger's rattling Jenny dying down in the compound. Leepus checks the monitor. Sweating piebald ponies trotting chariots up the lane, wild rovers with their blood up, pork heads raised on spears. Leepus relights his weed stick, modulates his rush. Then he cloaks himself in his greatcoat, breathes deep and summons the lift. Batteries low, winch motor groaning slow. Leepus waits impatient, considers his armoury locker. Escalation's a risky play in this position. Best to deploy revitalised intuition, read tells, catch bluffs, make moves and earn respect. Worst case, cash in even. No harm in pinging Mike though. Leepus ducks back for his phone. Grog bottles lined on the tank room bar catch his flicking eye. He snags a sociable afterthought, slips it into a deep coat pocket. The compound gate framed by the tower doorway. Leepus looks out from shadow. Arc welder cabled to silent Jenny. Open toolbox on gravel. Straightened spars of angle iron propped upright against the quaddie. Trailer tarp discarded careless in a heap. The portcullis mackled up by Bodger in a hurry. 3 wild rovers in chariots halted at the gate. Bodger's location not apparent. The charioteers remain mounted. They're statuesque in leather breeches, sheepskin jerkins over naked skin the colour of cured ham, random crow-feather adornment, black braids wound with silver, facial tat and scarification patterns typical western upland nomadic. Brasses jangle, the charioteers twitching traces. They're settling their lathered ponies as they reconnoitre the tower. One fit lad stoops. He comes up with a severed pork head finger-hooked by nose ring, whirls and hurls like a hammer thrower. The meaty missile arches high across the fence. It impacts heavy in front of the tower doorway, grins up at Leepus stepping out. He bends and grabs it by an ear, sauntering up to the cosmetic portcullis. "Appreciate the thought, boys," he says as he edges out, "but I'm still a bit full from breakfast." Blood dribbles cold up Leepus' sleeve as he hoists the bristled delicacy in the direction of head hurler. The rover scowls offended. He's not the only one disconcerted. Wet pink equine nostrils flare, brown eyes roll, flash white. The pork-spooked pony snorts and bolts, lurches its chariot into motion. Leepus watches the runaway contraption pitching reckless over the tussocks. He shrugs apologetic, anticipates retribution. But the rover lads are tickled pink by head hurler's spontaneous excursion, one white-knuckled hand clinging tight to chariot frame, the other clawing frantic to recover trailing traces. His enthusiastic comrades cheer on the risky caper with heads thrown back and cackling raucous, crowing stormcocks wild as wind. "Sly old stunt yow's pulling there," says one rover youth approving. "Fair fucking play to yow, chief." "Thanks, but credit where credit's due," says Leepus. "It's this old hog what does it. Payback for cutting its head off." "Chop snorters, just a warner, chief. Be family bonces as gets taken off tomorrow." "Family?" "Yow's clanners, mun. They shitters in their dirt holes down by trees below." A thumb jerk in the direction of shithole. The charioteer rests his case. His companion still unspeaking. He's distracted, miming vigorous masturbation. Leepus follows his gaze to see the scorned head hurler now returning, flogging his pony abashed up the hill. "Come on, don't take the piss," Leepus shrugs rebuttal. Just because those simples are neighbours doesn't mean we're fucking related. Shitters brag up yow for a chief. The charioteer's not buying it, pushing out a bet. They bastards does us evil. How yow reckon to fix it? Grog might take the sting off, says Leepus, producing hopeful bottle. That's fair manners, chief, but grog don't buy na girly. I don't want to buy na girly. Leepus pops the cork. Gie us a fucking back then, we a big bit of goal for compo. Right. Leepus takes a swallow of grog, picks the bones from the rover's demand and takes another swallow. I'll need some time to look around, see if I can't find her. Sound. The charioteer leans down and takes the bottle, drains it halfway down before Wanker grabs it from him. Lang as her's still sucking air and looking pretty. What happens if she's not? Reckon Queenie'll say on that. Most like her'll want yow's family bollocks chopped, and all they girl is 'dopted. Leepus dwells, takes his time about it. Head hurler back on scene now, wrestling the bottle from smirking Wanker. He's not happy to find it empty, flings it spinning past Leepus' head and springs down onto the turf. Leepus reads a deep desire for retribution etched in his facial rictus. Yow meckin us out contish, yow sly fucking grizz, says head hurler, stepping up shifty. Now yow fucking fight us. Leepus reads the other rover faces for potential intervention, deduces this unlikely. OK, matey, I'll have a go with you, he bluffs, but watch out for my dirty magic. Head hurler scowls, pulls his dagger. Fucking magic this'n. Easy, cuz, the charioteer singles caution. Just a bit of bearing up there. Yow can beat he, but don't dead he. Chief there says he's sound for dealing. Head hurler spits, then wipes his mouth and says, K, us settles for snoutin' lugs. Leepus reads the first slash coming. He twitches his head and evades it, skips swift round the nervous pony. Head hurler vaults the chariot, saying, Fucking gibber, stay yow ground and fight us. Leepus' footwork isn't too fancy. He's quickly outmanoeuvred, backed against a piebald flank and breathing the reek of pony sweat as head hurler dances round him. Head hurler weaving in. Leepus looks past the hypnotic curlicues described by the dagger point. He slips hand into pocket, palms an amp of capsaicin. He waits for head hurler's eye tell, twists away a nanosecond in advance of his lethal thrust. It's not the pony's day. It whinnies shrill with knees folding, the rover's long dagger blade jammed deep between its heaving ribs. Head hurler tugs, but he can't free it from spasmed muscle. Leepus takes advantage, slaps amp to enemy forehead and feels it shatter nicely. Head hurler blinking rapid, mucous membranes blazing. He lets go of the dagger, staggers back with hands clapped to eyes and collapses caterwauling. The stabbed pony going down too now, deranged by pain and commotion. Pink lung spume flecks the grass, its hooves thrashing frantic, galloping over phantom turf with death a short nose behind.